Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Zodiac Bandit, and today we're going to be recapping episode 106 of Campaign 3 of Critical Role. Let's get into it. We start in Vasselheim, specifically in Waylon's house. The party is resting here for the night, but before they go to bed, Imogen asks if they need to send a message to anyone. Lana and Ashton both want to send a message to Ira. If they will be dealing with the Unseelie, he'll be helpful. Dorian asks if he'll betray them, because the last time they saw each other, they fought him. Chenny doesn't trust him, but the rest of the party say that he's a good person to work with, especially if it's against their enemies. Imogen sends the message. She says, "Long time no see, heading to the Unseelie court. They may be working with your favorite person. Care to join us?" Ira quickly responds, "Glad to see you're alive. I've been keeping a low profile on Kaviris, but if you want me to join, let me know where I'm most useful." The party wonder where to attack Ludinus and Zethuda in the Fey Realm. They want to do it before they get to the meeting place. Orm suggests that they meet up with Ira at Nanamori's place. The party love this idea. Dorian and Breas don't know who Nanamori is, and the party explain. They ask Breas if he's been to the Fey Realm before, and he says that he hasn't. Chenny warns the two of them how crazy and terrifying Nanamori's place is. Fern says that it's up to the individual to see how messed up it is or how fun it is. She thinks it's very fun. Orm feels the plan works well with Nanamori and Ira at their side. Imogen sends another message to Ira. She says, "Alright, we're heading to Nanamori's. See you there after we wake up." He responds, "Ligament Manor. It has been some time." And that's all they get back from him. Fern then goes over to Waylon's room and she knocks on the door. He answers and she asks how much he'll sell Chetney's egg for, the wooden egg he showed off in the last episode. He says that it's not for sale. She asks if there's anything that she can give him in return. Fern says that she has made out with Chetney in the past, and this piques Waylon's interest. She claims that they're in a relationship. Waylon is excited by this, as he's heard he's actually quite a ladies' man and he's not settled down. She asks for the egg again. He says that he can't sell it, but would be willing to trade for anything that's original that no one knows about. She offers up a wooden figure that Chet made of herself. Persuasion check of 15. He can't trade it for that. It's his centerpiece of his entire collection. It's the last thing he shows everybody when he shows it off. She understands and says goodnight to him. She then tries to steal it. She goes over to the room with the egg in it and then rolls a sleight of hand check and gets a 17. She opens the unlocked cabinet, as it seems that Waylon did not lock it, and she sees the container holding the egg. She tries to swap it with a gold bag, or a bag of gold, and as she lifts the egg up, a platform drops and metal latches clasp around her hands. She yells for help from Waylon. He comes in the room and sees what's happened. He slowly approaches her, giving a prayer to Bahamut about forgiveness. He says not a problem, and he flips a switch and the latch falls, and he takes the egg swiftly from Fern's hand and places it back inside the cabinet, closes it, and locks it this time. He says that he is always watching and heads back to his bed. She goes and joins the rest of the party as well. And then the morning comes and the party can smell the breakfast that Waylon has made for them. Everyone eats breakfast. Chetney's breakfast is much more grandiose than the rest of them, and Fern only gets a biscuit. They finish up their meal. Waylon gets an interview from Chetney, or gives Chetney an interview, during which he tells Chetney that he doesn't think that Fern has his best interests in mind. Waylon says that they are welcome to come by any time, and if they're going to sell any originals, they can come to him because he wants them so desperately, and he'll give them lots of money for it. Chenny then gives Waylon a peacock carving that has its wings that can open up and close, and this excites Waylon to the point where he doesn't see them step outside into the city of Vasselheim. Ashton says that they should go to the Fey Realm, somewhere normal, as opposed to this place. Fern asks Chetney where the fifth egg is. Chetney doesn't give a true answer to that question. The party note the tension between Fern and Waylon, and she explains what happened. Orm says that Lana was right to worry about Waylon, about being a crazy person. He doesn't seem all there. They then head to the Abundant Terrace to find Kith. They find her within the forest near the temple there. Kith asks if they're still heading out, and the party say yes. They want to be as useful as possible in this time. Kith asks them to find whatever information they can to help them achieve their goals. Orm asks how they'll be getting back, and Kith says to just send her a message. As long as she's not being attacked, she'll be happy to help. Ashton asks if there's any potions that they can stock up on here while they're in Vasselheim, and if Kith can help remove his point of exhaustion, as he had to transform the day before. She says that she can't help with that, and that they can grab potions in the quad roads if they need, and she can help pay for that. She hands them some money. Lana asks where Keith is going to go, and Keith says that she's going to be gathering her friends, the rest of Vox Machina. One member has been hard to find lately, Scanlan. They hand out the potions that they currently have. Breas doesn't take any because his god protects him. The party asks which god because it's a little confusing right now, and he says that he'll see during battle which one he reaches out to. Fern asks why you can only have one god. Orm says these two gods are on two different sides of the equation. Breas says that Asmodeus just wants his family back. He's not that bad. Lana wonders if the gods would even know if someone is using two gods. Breas rolls a religion check to see if he would know, and he gets a 15. He isn't sure, but thinks that it depends on how deep the faith goes. If it's truly divided, that might raise some questions. The party choose not to go buy any potions and just keep Keith's money, and go straight to the Fey Realm. Keith is okay with this, a little confused, but is okay with it. She asks where they're going, and they tell her that they're going to the Ligament Manor. She hasn't been there herself yet, but she heard about it from Allura, and Allura says that it's different, but the two of them have different tastes, so Keith might actually like it if she went there. She leads them to a big tree and opens a portal to the Fey Realm. They rush through as it doesn't last long, and they are now in the Fey Realm. It's a bit warmer here than in Vasselheim. They see the familiar dark twisted trees, but most of this is new to Dorian and Breas. It seems like they are in a strange swamp. Chetney takes a branch from the tree that they just walked through, and Fern leads the way to Nana Mori's place. They eventually reach the manor, and they see the twisted weeping willow. Dorian looks up as they reach the base and sees the massive treehouse above them. Fern yells Nana, and a creaking sound stops. And then Nana yells, "Is that my Fern?" They hear footsteps coming down the stairs, and eventually Nana Mori comes in view. Dorian and Breas see her for the first time. She welcomes them back, and Fern introduces Dorian and Breas. Nana thinks Dorian is sweet and cute, but she is infatuated with Breas. Breas flirts with her a bit. Nana asks if he likes cocktails, and Breas says that he'd never say no to her. Nana asks where he's from. He smells of shadow and bad choices. He says that's exactly where he's from. Nana notes Fern is double dipping in the hells a little bit. She invites them in for cocktails and says that Fern's parents are still here from the last time they were here. She then looks at Chetney and asks how the legend is growing. He says that he has a fan club now. He then takes out a bit of broken Ruda's glass and gives it to her. She smells it and can tell that there's a bit of psychic energy on it and asks for more. Chetney says that there's going to be more to come, and Fern says there's lots to talk about with Rudis, and Nana Mori is very excited about it. She heads upstairs. Dorian asks if she is a blood relative of Fern's, and Fern explains her family situation to Dorian and Breas. Dorian says that he finds her family fascinating. They head inside and they see Nana Mori humming to herself at her tiki bar and mixing drinks for them all. She pours them their drinks and she takes her own seat, which seems to be made of flesh. Gross. The party tell her that Ira will be coming soon, or might be stopping by, and her eyes go wide. Lana says that he asked about her while they were with him, and the stomach Nana asks what he said in a very abrasive way. They tell her that he spoke very highly of her, and they explain that he's going to help them in their mission here in the Fae. Nana says that ship has sailed between the two of them. Nana Mori is always moving forward, after all. The party try to tell Nana about FCG, but she already knows. She was watching, and she's sorry for their loss. Lana asks if she can feel if he's okay or not, and if he went somewhere else after his death, or their death. Nana says that that's actually beyond her power and more the matron's thing. Lana then shows the alien in a jar that she found in Kaviris. Nana freaks out and really wants it. She takes it and flicks the jar, making the alien twitch, and now she really, really wants it. Lana says that she can have it once they're done with everything here, and Nana is very excited about that prospect. The party say they're going to be dealing with the Unseelie Court. Nana knows. She can see that Fern's threads and her father's threads are going to cross soon. He arrived a few hours ago here in the Fey Realm. The party want to stop Ludinus and Zethutha from reconvening their alliance with the Unseelie Court. Nana says the Unseelie have been getting ready for something for a while now. At this moment, Ira walks into the room and dusts himself off and says hi to everyone. Nana Mori turns away from him in this moment. Ira sees Dorian and recognizes him from the last time they fought, and they shake hands. He then turns to Breas. Breas says that he's friends with Nana Mori, and that she's a lovely lady. She says that they told her he was coming, and she actually shifts her chair closer to Breas. Ira holds his hand out for Nana's, and she holds her hand out. Ira goes to kiss Nana's hand, but she pulls it back. Nana then asks where the meeting with the Vanguard and the Unseelie is going to be, and the party say the Paravenir. I'm probably saying that wrong again. Nana's eyes go white, and it looks like she's looking for something, and says that they're trekking there now, the party must get moving. Lana turns to Ira and says that he ghosted them on Ruidus. Ira says that he had to protect himself when all hell broke loose. Lana says let's do that again, and this time maybe Lord Zethuda might go boom with it all this time. Ira likes this idea and grabs his scarf and says that they should be on their way soon. Before Breas leaves, he turns to Nana Mori and extends his hand. He says that it's been a pleasure. He kisses her hand, and it's like a wet leather jacket, according to Matt. Great. I had to hear it, so do all of you. Ira then kneels down as well and kisses her hand and looks right at Breas. Nana then looks over to Fern with a knowing look and a hair flick. Fern says that this used to happen all the time while she was growing up. Nana withdraws her hands and says that they should celebrate when they get back. It's been a while since they've had a celebration here at the Ligament Manor. She runs her hands through her hair, and it suddenly grows more lush, and she magically dolls herself up a bit, as much as this creature can. Ira says they must be on their way, and the party start to head up. Nana turns to Orym. Orym says that her aid was much appreciated on Ruidus. She says that it's sorry it wasn't enough. Orym says it helped them lose less than what they might have. Birdie then runs down the stairs, yelling Fern, and hugs her. She looks to Nana, and Nana says that they are off. They just came here for a moment. But they can have their moment as well before they go. Fern says that they'll celebrate when they get back, and Birdie tells her to come back safely. They hug, and Birdie puts something in her hand, and she says to think of them when she needs to refocus. Fern looks at her hand and sees a necklace made from the broken, shattered lens that they broke all that time ago, back early in the campaign. Nana says post haste it is, and waves her hands around. The tree begins to shift, and the wind begins to pick up. Mist picks up, and it begins to take shape into spectral horses with 6 legs and long necks. There's 9 of them. The wind then dies down, and the horses are floating above the ground. Nana warns them that flying too high might draw attention and make them visible. Nana says to come back after all of this, they're always welcome. Fern hugs her and kisses her. Nana says that she'll be watching. Fern asks if she can see where the threads end. Nana says no, she just tugs on them every once in a while. The threads ending are more the matron's thing. Imogen asks how long Nana's been alive, and Nana doesn't really remember. Time here in the Fey Realm is like a weird soup, which makes Fern very happy. Imogen asks if the Fey Realm was around before the gods. Nana doesn't remember a time before them, but magic here is very old. Dorian asks if this realm and their realm are connected, and Nana says that they are. People leave both to go to the other, and they do feel the repercussions between the two of them. Those who are here aren't as bound to the gods as those in Exandria. The court are the ones most connected to the gods themselves. Ashton asks about the Matron of Raven's connection here, and she says that this realm is more connected to the Moonweaver and the Archheart. It's his realm. Imogen asks who the Unseelie are connected to the most, and Nana says, again, the Moonweaver and the Archheart. Nana tells them that they should be going soon. Their horses only last an hour, and they all hop on their horses. Ira leads the way, and he says that he may come back and visit once this is all done. Nana says that she may have company and slaps Breas' ass. They then take off and fly above the canopy of the Ligament Manor. They are above the forests and swamps of the strange landscape here, and they can see it below them. They fly off towards the meeting place. The horses are moving at a rapid speed. The party choose to fly above the treetops for now, for the first part of their journey, and they will go below the tree line once they get a little bit closer. They all name their horses after Japanese food, but since they only last an hour, I am not recording them, and I did not record them. Fern and Ira watch the landscape shift, and they see the purple forest and strange mountain range of the Sierras that Fern went to in her youth. They see the landscape like a frozen snapshot of a cataclysm. Fern can see at the peak is an outline of a bunch of structures. That is their destination. They fly below the tree line, and they can now understand how fast these horses are actually moving. The group needs to make an athletics check, or the group needs to make a group athletics check, acrobatics check, or animal handling check to see if they can control their steeds. Chetney with a 20, a dirty 20, he gets scratched in the face by a branch as he's whizzing past them, and it's a close call. Lana with an 18, she follows by Chetney, and as the branch hits him and breaks off, it snaps off and hits her, dealing 4 damage to her face. Dorian with a 24 is riding side saddle and avoids every branch that he needs to. Brace with a 14, he tries to keep up, but is knocked off course by a bunch of branches, and then slams into one of the trees and takes 9 damage. Fern with a 16 watches Brace, and then she doesn't see a branch come and hit her in the face for 2 damage. Imogen with a 20 moves around the branches with no issue. Orm with a 24 has no issue as well. Ashen with a 16, he moves above the canopy to try to avoid the branches, and gets hit by a fey bird and takes 5 damage and also kills the bird in the process. They begin to slow as they reach the edge of the thinning tree line. There are a bunch of overgrown paths that lead towards their destination. They slow down more and coast at the base of the trees and drift around and see a stone wall standing about 15 feet high approaching rapidly. Orm rolls a perception check of 29. He is on lookout. As they reach the wall, the horses disappear as they have reached their destination. Orm asks what this place is, and Ira says that this is a place for artistic expression free folk who came here to find their purpose. Until a dark fate befell them, some still rest within and haunt this place, and the others fled and say that the town is cursed. And is haunted by those who hate the Archheart. Lana asks why they hate him, and Ira says to be rid of those who craft in his image probably left them a bit bitter. Lana asks if the Archheart still watches over this place, but Ira doesn't know. The party think it's best to go in now. Ira turns invisible, and the party see the wall is covered in vines. Orm climbs up, and with a natural acrobatics 20, I said that really weirdly, he climbs up without any issue. He sees within is a sprawling village with a beautiful set of buildings of Fey design. Buildings taken over and tents taken by the vegetation. Everything here has been taken over by said vegetation. He also sees in the center is a handful of towers, or temples, that have been mostly retaken by the land with the exception of the very peaks of them. But there is one that stands above the rest. This temple-like structure rises with a dual peak roof. It's very beautiful as it goes up, and very ornate. It's the centerpiece of this town. He looks for anyone around. He sees abandoned carts and abandoned marketplace, and then he notices humanoid shapes that have been grown over. Much of what he saw before wasn't just stone, but it was actually bodies being taken over by the landscape. The rest of the party climb up. Imogen flies up using some sorcery points. Laudna uses spider climb to climb up. Imogen then uses more sorcery points to cast See Invisible so she can see Ira. She sees Ira next to Orm on top of the wall. Orm sees movement within the town heading toward the tower. Chetney uses Hunter's Bane, and he gets nothing that pings him outside of Fern and Ira. Ashton casts Pass Without a Trace on them. Orm saw 8 armored figures heading towards this temple or tower. Orm says that they should assume Gloomglut is around. Orm asks what exactly they're going to be doing. He says they want to turn the Unseelie against Lewdness, and attacking them outright won't do that. Ashton says that they should get more information before they make any plans. Imogen casts invisibility. Chetney, Imogen, and Dorian go to the ground, and Ira follows them. The rest of them walk across the wall. Imogen links the party telepathically before she turns invisible, just for anyone who's curious about the order of things. And now it's time for group stealth checks. Ashton with a 20, which means he rolled a 10. That's rough. Orm with a 19. Imogen with a 24. Fern with a 16. Brace with a staggering 32. What the hell? I'm assuming one of his bard levels of expertise went into stealth. Dorian got a 20. Laudna got a 19. And Chetney got a 25. Those on the wall come to a part where the wall has actually broken away and fallen, about 6 feet across, but there are some vines that they can use to potentially walk across it. They might have to go down and up, and they choose to do so. As they go, Fern loses her footing. Ashton grabs her, but a stone falls and makes a bit of noise. They all hold still, hoping nothing comes by. but a hawk flies over top and circles them twice, and then it flies back in the direction towards the temple. Laudna sends an invisible pate after the hawk, and once the hawk is out of view, everyone continues onward. The ones on the ground floor move throughout the buildings of the city and see how beautiful this old dead city is. Everything is somewhat unique, or every building has somewhat unique, but they all have similar features that make it look like they're a part of the same city. They see the parks as they move closer to the temple. The hawk doesn't come back. Laudna looks into Pate's eyes, and he is flying above the temple. Chetney uses grim psychometry on one of the bodies he's nearby and rolls a 22. He sees the decayed body and touches it, and then sees him again with his eyes glazed over and blood coming from his mouth. The blood then re-enters the mouth, and he is now coughing. They then grab someone's hand and walk backwards. They then put an apple back on the tree and move through a market and a festival. They then walk back into their home and pour their tea back into the kettle. He then feels an unsettling presence, something settling within the liquid in this city, within all of the liquid in the lifeblood of this city and this culture. He then snaps back. For those who are confused, that vision played in reverse, which was actually really well done. It took me a minute to clue into what was happening, but very interesting idea from Matt there to see a vision in reverse. He tells the others that there was poison in the water here in this city, and that's probably what happened to everybody. Pate sees the armored figures stepping into the temple. 3 of them specifically enter, and the rest of them fan out and keep watch. 2 of them stand in front of the entrance to this temple. The rest spread out. Perception check of 7 from Pate. He sees the armor of this group is all definitely unseelie, and the less armored ones spread out, but he loses track of them specifically. He does see a jet black dog that has a humanoid face that walks around the temple sniffing about. Matt grabs a map to show exactly what Pate sees, and it's simply sick as fuck. I am always going to be jealous of these maps. I wish I had so much money to buy all these things, because it would be awesome. The party wonder what they should do right now, and Orm says that they should just watch for a minute, and the party agree. Laudna sends Pate down to look into the temple and rolls a stealth check of 7. He flies in and lands on the windowsill but slips, and he slaps the ground as he falls, and then suddenly Laudna loses connection with him. The party think that they've been made. Orm looks over for any reaction from the guards and can't really see what exactly their facial expressions are from how far away he is. Chetney and Dorian turn invisible while on the ground, and they plan to move in with Imogen. The wall team start to push down towards the temple as well. Chetney uses his monocle to cast Arcane Eye, which allows him to see kind of like just moving a single vision forward, I guess. That's the way I'm going to describe it for now. Imogen flies over the temple and takes a look inside. She flies to a higher part of the tower and then looks down. Dorian moves up to one of the guards, close to one of the guards, who is by himself. Stealth check from Dorian and Imogen, 24 from Dorian, 22 from Imogen. No one seems to notice Imogen, and as she looks down. Using Arcane Eye, Chetney looks into one of the windows. Perception check for Dorian, natural 20. He sees the guard in front of him, but then he also makes out where the other guards around the temple are. He informs the others of where they are. Imogen sees a hallway as she peeks inside, and then suddenly she sees the building shift and dust fall. She drifts back and makes a perception check of 19. She sees a shape come into view and scale shift as if it's a chameleon, and becomes more clear as it does so. She sees Gloomglut has landed on the roof, and she quickly heads back inside on the upper floor. The rest watch as it slithers its way inside the building, cracking a bit of the building as it goes in. The Arcane Eye turns and sees Gloomglut enter. Dorian sees 2 figures hop off, Ludinus and Zethuda, and then they walk into the temple behind Gloomglut. Chetney wants to figure out a way to make the Unseelie seem threatened by Ludinus, and the Arcane Eye follows them closer, but at the ceiling level. Perception check, natural 20 from Chetney. He sees 3 figures inside the central chamber. It's what's known as the Shrine of Gilded Gifts. He sees a raised platform in the center of the temple and a statue of the Archheart as well. Gloomglut is on the ceiling. The eye then sees Ludinus and Zethuda. Chetney drops the arcane eye and tells the others what he saw, and that there are 5 people in the main chamber. Chetney kind of wants to drop the building on them. Lana says that she can fuck with their heads a little bit if they need to, and they also have their Vanguard clothing that they can wear to make it look like the Vanguard's attacking the Unseelie. Dorian sees the dog sniffing around him. The rest get closer to the temple as this all happens. Lana wants to use Phantasmal Force to mess with Zethuda to make him feel like this is a trap. Dorian watches a guy in a tree suddenly get his life snuffed out as he's yelling, and there is no sound. He is killed. Imogen looks to where that just happened and sees Ira is now standing in that tree. And this is a badass image, and this will be the Ira image I use for all time. The party think it's best to take out the guards on the outside. Chetney notes if shit hits the fan, they'll be in like one of the toughest fights they've ever had. Ludinus, Zethuda, and Gloomglut, plus whoever's inside. Chetney then turns into a werewolf. Orm uses Know Your Enemy and learns that the hit points of the guards out here are lower than his and their level is lower than his. Ira says that he can make them quiet. Chetney ignites his claws. Ira casts silence on the guard nearest to Chetney. Stealth checks from the wall team. Orm with a natural 1, which is crazy for him. Fern with a 24. Laudna with a 25. Breas with an 18. Not so good this time, Breas. And Ashen with a 27. As they move, Orm slips on a rock, and he's about to fall and make a loud noise, but Ashen grabs him. Ashen is saving everybody today. Chetney attacks the guard who is silenced. He attacks with all 3 of them, and the last one crits. He deals 23 on the first attack, 19 on the second, and 29 on the third. He snuffs out the lights of this poor guard like a werewolf assassin and then hides the body. Someone's been playing Assassin's Creed lately. Dorian hides in the brush and makes a stealth check of 16. He then casts Charm Monster, dropping his invisibility on the dog. It rolls a 13 on the saving throw, failing. He then calls it over and tells it does go over to him, and he tells it to get out of here. He's now free. The dog runs off, and it actually starts to fly away as it leaves. This dog can fly. One guard sees it walk off and then fly off, and he follows it a bit. He turns and looks down and sees Dorian hiding in the brush. Breas sees this and moves up and casts silence on this guard. Stealth check, 27. The guard starts yelling, and again, there's no sound being made from this guard. He readies his sword. Imogen sees this guy, and she drops down a bit and casts Psychic Lance on him. He fails the save and takes 25 damage, and he is incapacitated. Laudna then casts Chilled Touch on this guard and crits, dealing 38 damage, killing this guard. This guard is pulled underground by the Chilled Touch skeleton hand, which is a great visual. Laudna then moves up a bit next to Orm. Breas and Fern join them. Ashen then moves over to Chetney. Imogen tells Ira to silence the last bush guard. He does so, and Imogen makes a perception check to see if she can hear the talking inside. She does hear it, but she can't make out words specifically. Ashen and Chetney move up to the last silenced guard, who isn't in front of the doorway. Stealth check. They both roll insanely high. I'm not even going to bother. They both attack and hit him. Chetney crits, and Ashen lands a good hit, or 2 good hits. Ashen deals 19 and 16 damage with his 2 attacks, and Chetney deals 26 damage, killing the guard together as they brutalize this poor bastard. Imogen then casts Telekinesis. Ira turns invisible again. Ira says that these are the final 2, and he snaps his fingers and they both lock in place. He tells them to make their move, them being the party. Orm runs up and casts Misty Step to get close to them. Ashen rushes up and rages. Chetney runs up as well. Breas casts Silence on the both of them. It's in the perfect spot to cast it on both. And all of the people who can attack the enemy. And everything that hits is a crit because they are paralyzed. Orm hits and deals 30 damage on his first attack. He hits again for 32 more damage, killing the guard he was fighting. Orm then action surges and moves away from the door. Ashen hits and deals 54 damage on the first attack, killing the guard outright. He grabs it. It grabs the guard's body and then drops down through a wormhole, teleporting them away and hiding the body. The outside of the temple is now clear. They move up to the temple. They look through the windows and they see the hallway, much like before. There seems to be a circular hallway surrounding the interior of this temple. They can only see the central chamber through the front door. The party try to figure out what to do. Laudna climbs up to the roof. They can hear voices from within. Perception check from Orem, a 28. He hears Ludinus say in their absence, and their great plan is disquieting and telling. Time, while a flexible commodity here in the Fey realm, does require some respect in their endeavors. A voice that Orem doesn't know says that they've been watching and they've seen them succeed, unaided. Their strength is from within the shadows. Ludinus says that he doesn't want to hear their platitudes nor their explanations. He bears the weight of their deals, and the court is very absent. The voice says that their involvement demands discretion after the fall of the second key, or the secondary key. Ludinus yells that they allowed that to fall. It's on them, and their lords hide behind excuses and feign ignorance. He knows Saminar is far too clever to withhold without several good selfish reasons. The voice says that they believe in Ludinus' dream and share his vision, and says to not mistake their caution for negligence. Ludinus says that he mistakes nothing, especially their nature. If he is to fail without them, then this realm will stay under their balance, their being the gods. The voice says that he will relay this to his keeper and to the court, and asks how he can best prepare to aid him. Ludinus expects an assault on the Malleus Key soon. From the rallied nations, he needs their armies for it. His keeper should know what he speaks of. He tells the voice to go. The window is closing and the cage is nearly at hand. Ludinus then yells at Zethуда for not saying anything during their talk. Laudna climbs up and sees into the chamber room through slits in the wall. Imogen warns her of Gloomglut being towards the top of the room. Laudna sees the statue of the Archheart. Ashton suggests waiting for Ludinus and his men to leave and to kill the Unseelie after he leaves, just to make it look like Ludinus did it. They hear the footsteps as people are leaving the room. The party ready themselves as they hear the footsteps. Laudna casts Animate Object on the statue of the Archheart. Ludinus says, "You gotta be kidding me." Gloomglut then slams onto the ground. The three figures who were leaving rush back in. Imogen can't see the pillars that they were planning to pull down. Ashton takes his Titan form, or his elemental form. Imogen flies up and joins Laudna. She casts Pass Wall on the wall in front of them to see into the room. Fern goes in to make sure that she gets the pillars within her little transmute rock spell. She sees Gloomglut fighting the statue of the Archheart, and Matt grabs another map from of the inside of this chamber, which is a little different than how the party thought it was, but that's just a miscommunication on everyone's part. Fern enters the chamber and sees the statue get smashed to bits instantly. She casts Transmute Rock in the chamber on one of the pillars, getting two of the Unseelie court members stuck within, and they are now trapped. The pillar also falls down into it. She turns to run, and she hears a shift in the structure of the temple. Ashton earth glides underneath the ground and begins making his way in. The two Unseelies fail the save, and they are trapped within, like I mentioned before. The last one turns and sees Fern and yells. Gloomglut then turns and sees Fern, and here is where the session ends. So there you have it, episode 106 of Campaign 3 of Critical Role, and it seems episode 107 is going to start with a fight, which is very badass and very exciting. First of all, the Gloomglut mini is insane. It's so sick. Like, it's still on screen, that's how sick it is. But anyway, badass mini, badass freaking maps, man. I'm so jealous of these maps. But anyway, it was a fun episode. Very excited for next week's episode because I'm very looking forward to this fight. Hopefully this is the end of Sora Lord Zethуда and the end of this simulacrum of Ludinus. And hopefully the Unseelie court don't side with Ludinus too much because, they are getting attacked by a third force here. But it was already their enemy before. Maybe the Unseelie court will see this as being like, Ludinus is bad for business, let's not work with him. But that's just hopeful thinking. Anyway, I will see you guys on Tuesday for whatever video I make next. Until then, peace.